To me, that's paramount. If we're moving towards standards-based LAPDs, we need to know exactly what they mean, because your earlier comment earlier that we don't know what a 4 point is, do on English groups, to talk to how that would work, how much money we're talking about, how many cattle we're talking about.
Okay, my question to you right off the bat is, do you do a carcass progeny test right now?
No.
Okay. Is there a spot where a bunch of beef master steers are fed?
Yes.
Then it's the rest is just details on when to get there and when to get the kill data. I think you can get carcass fed for about $8-10 a head. We could hire a technician to come down there and scan them for 10 to 15. Our research rate is $250 a head, which would come out of that. So depending on how many you did, and you wouldn't have to do 5,000 head. You could do 500 or less. You get pretty close. The reason I put that slide up there is for a long time, ultrasound was very guilty of just getting in a groove because the business was expanding so quickly. And by that slide, I'll try to get back to it. Right there. This was done on basically some Simmental Angus cross cattle at a feed yard in Iowa. I think there was, in fact, some of these were included in my research project as well. But this was the only thing that we had to go on at the time because Iowa State was really the only one that was doing any research on the genetic side and on the feedlot side and putting it out there for everybody to use. John Brethauer did a ton of research on feedlot cattle, but never really released it so everybody could use it. So basically, this was all we had. So how that's changed or different, I know for a fact that there are 9 prime cattle in the state set. That's it. And we've scanned a ton of Wagyus, those really high prime cattle recently, and a lot of them will go prime in that 8.5 range, maybe even a touch lower than that. This one says that they won't go prime until they hit 9.8. That's a lot of snow on the screen for those of you that have ever seen it. So I think there are some changes in this IMF marbling score thing that we may need to look at. To answer your question, the only way to really know if we're accurate is to do something within the breed. All the research that's been done has been done on continental British cattle. So we won't really know, not even any Brangus. There's been no ear influence in any of the research to my knowledge. So does that answer your question from a cost standpoint? About $20 an animal, roughly?
Pat, talk to us a little bit about, as you know, our preference is rump fat, rib fat. I have had the rib side. A lot of our breeders are questioning why we're accumulating rump fat.
I'll answer that. Go ahead. I'll answer that as fast as I possibly can. Don't take it. If you're not going to use it, don't take it.
All right, let me explain. And I thought maybe you were going to indicate to us what other breeds that are taking it or using it for, and then I will explain to you.
Yes.
But go ahead. That's what I'm trying to do.
The reason anybody takes it, period, was there was a research project in the late 90s that tried to get a more accurate predictor of retail product or yield grade. They didn't know if just fat at the ribeye and ribeye size was enough to get an accurate assessment of retail product. So they started doing other locations, and the one that was very repeatable, was very easy to take, very convenient, and when they're standing in the chute is very accessible, is rump fat. Rump fat is an early developing tissue. A lot of the old timers will refer to it as the breeding pad. It's a fat that lays down at a younger age than does rib fat. So on cattle that are early maturing, like say Angus, which is what the project was done on, those cattle will have more rump fat than they will rib fat at a year. So that will help us predict retail product. What they found when other breeds started using it, especially the Continentals and the breeds in the South, there wasn't enough difference between rib fat and rump fat to ever use it. It didn't make any difference. rib fat by itself was just as accurate as using rib animal. So, like I said before, all the breeds got them at Grew. Well, they make the Angus breeders take it, so we might as well take it too. But I know of 3 or 4 continental breeds that stuff goes into cyberspace the minute I send it to them, and they never do anything with it. So that's the reason it's taken was to try to help us predict retail product. But the later maturing cattle, they don't ever lay it down by the time that they go to grass. By then it's too late. So don't, like I say, unless you think it's useful, don't even take the image. Just wasting your time, oil and clipping and all that other stuff that takes time to scan.
Question for Wendell. What's the top lab? Or is that data around 24 hours?
Send it to Harvard and they come and take the inventory.
And the adjustments, we got our first data set back.